Okay, so this is Ben and I playing. I'm on the Skaven and he's on the Wood Elves. Actually going to pause. This kind of gets, well, actually it's not that quick. I have two of these wolf rats with poison, one on each flank. Or actually I have three of them, two on the other flank and one on this flank. I have Skaven slaves, spears, and regular Skaven slaves, like five of them in total. I have three clan rats, no shields. I have Grayseer Plague on the Screaming Bell. This is a pretty cool model. Rat Ogre in the back, like actually you doing the bell and the Rat Seer there riding the bell. It's pretty cool. I've got Poison Wind Mortars, more slaves, and I've got Natty Bubo Sharpshooters and the non-ROR Giselles, and two Eshin Triads. And I have these Doom Flayers, which were kind of a experimental pick on my part. For him, he has two Great Eagles. He has Drycha, Eternal Guard. I think most of them are with shields and one is without. Yeah, there's one without. He's got two of these Glaive Guard with Starfire shafts. They do fire damage. Is it just fire? Yeah, it's fire and armor piercing, which is nice. And he's got a War Dancer and a War Dancer with Azrai Spear. And the Zotes, which I didn't realize he had at first. I don't know. I don't think they stock. No, they don't. And then over here, which I had no idea he has two of these Wild Riders vanguarded in the back. So this is a pretty quick game, so we'll get started in. So right away, I start firing at the Eagles with my Warlock Giselles. I start moving up the mortars to get ready to fire. He starts shooting at my Skaven slaves, but I think realizes soon that that's not worth it and switches. I start getting really good damage on these Eagles. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of the Eagles, but I think they did really well this game. So I see he's coming over and he's like headed towards these Giselles. So I quickly move my rats with poison, wolf rats with poison up, and I start moving the Eshin Triads to block. And right at this point, all of my attention is basically here. I did run up and charge these Eternal Guard with my Doom Flayers, and then eventually I realized that's not a good place to stay. I'm moving up around the flank with my wolf rats there, and yeah, so like I said, I'm kind of focused completely on these Eagles right now. I've all but forgotten about these Doom Flayers after I gave them an attack order, and here comes in his Wild Riders. Now I have a Eshin Triad right there ready to go, but because I didn't see them coming, I wanted to help screen out the Eagles, and I start moving them away. And then, of course, my Giselles on skirmish mode start running away from the Wild Riders and into my mortars, who then start to run themselves. So this is an amazing play, and I did horribly in this. I get my Grayseer up into the front line. He's taken a lot of damage from those archers. And let's see, I did the dreaded 13th spell on these War Dancers. It did a bit of damage, and now they're fighting Storm Vermin with halberds, so that was a kind of a good play. At this point, my Giselles have broken off, and my mortars are just completely gone. I think I got maybe 2 or 3 shots off with it. It's not good. And the whole time, his Eagles have just been kind of hanging out waiting for that to happen. So that was a really good play. I get my Doom Flayers back, but then immediately they get charged again. And again, at this point, I've completely forgotten about all of these micro-intensive units. And I'm still focusing on these Eagles and trying trying to do something about these wild riders. My Plague Priest is still fighting in the front line, getting really messed up. I did get some clan rat summons on these archers, which was good, but then he summoned a Dryad unit, and he gets a nice pendulum on my Eshin troops there, and drops down with his eagles, which may not have been the best play. Probably should have just waited. Get to watch Drika take fighting this big thing, and she gets thrown. Good stuff. It's about the only good thing that happens for old Keith here. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward a little bit. It's getting to the point of nothing I can really do here. I've only got one of my weapons teams. Nice pit of shades. My Grey Seer is broken off. My Doom Flares are broken off. Like, most of my Wolf Rats are gone. I'm basically slivers of HP on pretty much everything. My Grey Seer goes down, and that's pretty much all she wrote. So that was a really quick one. Let's take a quick look at the breakdown. Let's see here. Yeah, that my leader did not pay for himself. You know, Skaven slaves never do or rarely do. Clan rats were just there to hold. Yeah, my Eshins, like, they just didn't do anything. I was really worried about protecting everything and then failed at protecting everything. And let's see, clan rat, or the wolf rats, one of them paid for itself. That one did pretty good, and that one did nothing. Doom Flares were just a waste. Let's see, Drycha did 638. She's more of a support character. She can be pretty good in combat, but it's more about the summons and the spells that she brings. Eternal Guard, yeah, they're just awesome. They just hold. They have good leadership. War Dancers, these are the ones I think I put the dreaded 13 spell on, so they got kind of beat up on real early. War Dancers with Azrael Spears, I don't think they had a chance to really get into anything before I was done. And, oh man, this one archer unit, this is the one I don't think I got the Clan Rat summon on. So it did really well. And yeah, the Wild Riders, though it was mostly just that first initial push that got off my Jezzails and my mortar teams, and that's a lot of money invested there. The Eagles, they did their job. They kept my micro and attention there, so I guess they paid for themselves in other ways. And yeah, he didn't even really get into his zotes. That was pretty one-sided. So that was a good play. Let's now look at Vampires and Norsca. So I kind of went back and forth on this build on what to do here. My biggest concern was, I'm going to pause it real quick. Actually, we'll go into slow. My biggest concern was the mammoths, and I thought he could bring a giant or something too, because I did the same thing, greenskins against his vampires, and it worked pretty well. But let's start with his side. So he has two of these Marauder Horsemen throwing axes. He's got Marauder Hunters with javelins. Is it just the one? No, it's two. He's got Marauder Spearmen, and then I think three regular Marauders. Yep. He's got Famir with great weapons. He's got, what I thought was Wolfric, but it's actually just a Marauder Chieftain on a big mammoth. He's got Famir Balefin of Fire. Oh, is that 4 Marauders? I think it's 4 Marauders. One in the back. And then he's got the Frostworm. This was kind of a really caught me off guard. I was actually thinking, oh, what if he brings a Frostworm? What am I going to do about it? I almost brought Belbat, but I was like, I don't think he's going to. And sure enough, he does. And then he brings these Ice Wolf Chariots. They have a slowing aura, and they also have really good anti-infantry. Now going to me, I have a front line of zombies, 4 of them, just to take initial beatings. I've got 2 Karen Rice, 1 on each side. Let's see, skeleton warriors with chevroned up. The Sternsman ROR of the Graveguard, and another skeleton warrior chevroned up. I brought Heinrich Kemmler and a Banshee. The Banshee's there to basically go straight after his mammoth, just because she won't take much damage from him, and it'll just be constantly poking him. I brought a Necromancer on a Corpse Cart Lodestone, so he'll be giving passive healing. The only thing I brought on him was, I believe it is the Raised Dead. I'm not finding it, but I brought Raised Dead on him. And then for Kemmler, I brought the Dance Macabre, Van Hale's Dance Macabre. Crap, now I'm going to have to look at it. It's Gaze in the Gash and Healing, Invocation the Heck. And then I brought 2 of these Blood Knights for anti-large. This was my other making sure to go after his monsters. They're anti-large, they hit real hard. And then, yeah, I already talked about Karen Race. Just for basically the terror and the fact that they're pretty fast. And then I brought 2 of these dire wolves, and that's solely for going up against his marauder horsemen. I just wanted something to push them back. And I believe that is it. So let's go ahead and start it back up. So at this point, I start pulling back the Blood Knights so they're not getting hit by these Marauder Horsemen. He sees my wolves, but then I immediately start charging. And because his are on skirmish, they start to run away. Now they'll keep throwing, but that's money in my pocket because those are the anti-armor, armor piercing, and these wolves don't have any armor. So it's not that damage is wasted, but the potential of hitting maybe my Grave Guard or my hero or something with more armor is. So again, with his Frostworm, he's kind of just hanging out. Don't have anything to protect really, so I'm not too worried about it. Immediately get into the Mammoth here. And Kemmler is taking a bit of work. I need to get him back, but the Banshee is just there poking. He does a Burning Head on these zombies. Just barely misses this one. Hits him a little bit. I would probably have saved that for a better unit of infantry. That's kind of just wasted money in my opinion, but it is breaking him through my lines. As long as he capitalizes on that. Yeah, my zombies are just getting messed up. Eventually, I'll start getting my Karen Race up around the flanks. I'm getting my second line into combat. Oh, I also have this other Corpse Cart. It seriously just gives them a passive melee defense and melee attack buff. I summon Krell, who is now here fighting these Famir. He'll do really good with that, but then at this point I'm like, nope, gotta go after the Mammoth. So Krell will come in here. He'll do a pretty good amount of damage. This right here is super money for me. I break off one of his javelin men. I got the other one, the horseman, all the way to the edge, and then I immediately start going after the other throwing axe. So basically, this means that he's not hitting anything else important. He gets his chariots and his Frostworm into my Blood Knights. He got the charge with the Frostworm and the thing, so it's going to do pretty good, but also the Blood Knights are anti-large, so that's okay for me too. Another Burning Head, and that one's hitting my zombies and my skeleton warriors, so that's really good. Misses my Karen Race though, which that would have done a lot of damage to them. I'm pulling my Blood Knights back, just kind of trying to protect Heinrich Kemmler. Krell is still going pretty well. My Banshee hasn't been touched, and the Chieftain is already at half health. And then I charge in with my Blood Knights again, anti-large. That would do wonderfully there. Let's see, Necromancer is still doing well. I think I summon a zombie here to help out these Karen race soon. And I'm just kind of cycling in and out with my Blood Knights, like wherever I need them. I see the caster here, so I'm like, I can, and I think they count as large, the Famir. Yes, they do count as large, so they'll do real well against him too. Yeah, my Necromancer come over here just to keep providing the healing, the passive healing buff. And I think, again, I drop down a zombie here soon. He's getting after Heinrich Kemmler with his Marauders. Heinrich Kemmler will do okay with that, but he doesn't really want to be in combat. Let's see here. Oh, and Krell is almost disintegrated. He's, a summon, so he only lasts for a little bit. Let's see how much value he's gotten so far. 627. I think he ends up getting like 700 damage, so that's pretty good for a summon. It's actually really good for a summon. Over here, the Karen race are just continuing to go after these Marauders. As the leadership gets worse here, like the Terror will kick in and that'll be really good for me. Frostworm, again, is going after Blood Knights, trying to save the Famir Balefine, who is just about broken, but that is not where the Frostworm wants to go. Again, anti-large. I need to focus more of my healing on the Blood Knights. I ended up not doing that as much. Again, we'll just keep going. Need to get my Karen race back into something. They're more anti-infantry. I don't think they actually have the anti-infantry, but that's what they're really good at. And another Gaze of Nagash, getting that Marauder down. See how low his health bar is, but he still has 3,100 health. At this point, I should have gotten my Blood Knights back into the Marauder, but it breaks now, and I think I send the Banshee just to follow him off, because again, that's 3,000 HP still on a giant anti-infantry monster. I break off the Marauder Chariots, which has only one model left. Nice breath attack on the Banshee, but because she was moving, it didn't hit as hard. But then he drops down and starts attacking. And at this point, I was like, oh yeah, I'll definitely do that. That's why I brought this character for, is to fight monsters. And then as soon as her health started to plummet, I'm like, oh wait, he does magic damage. This isn't good. So then, of course, I'm bringing in the Karen race, who are also ethereal. His chieftain comes back. It's just like, oh no! At this point, I'm like, this is not going well. I start charging in the Blood Knights again. I'm just trying to keep things around. Blood Knights charging into these Marauder Horsemen and Spears. I need to get them out of there. They're about done. They're breaking like into the front of Spears. That's not where I should have had them. Necromancer's still doing pretty good. Heinrich Kemmler's doing real well. He has a lot of healing. Like I don't think I put a single heal on him. He just has a lot of passive healing. But at this point, the balance power starts to shift, and it becomes army losses. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on here. Yeah, the Marauder Chieftain is on the Mammoth is kind of like a Walmart Wolfric. He's still got 1,500. I think he definitely paid for himself. I think he probably is around that price. The Famir got 200 kills, over 200 kills, but 1,100. That's because a lot of the fire was on zombies. He did get that one Skeleton Warrior, which was a good play. Marauders just, they did well. The Spearmen, I don't like the one at the end was getting my Blood Knights, so I mean that's good. But a lot of people don't bring these. It's just the actual normal Marauders. They just are so effective, and when you want anti-large, really it's just these Marauder Hunters and the normal Marauder Horsemen are good. Also, he has these Famir Great Weapons, which are anti-large. They only got 373 damage, but they got 115 kills. That meant they were fighting infantry the whole time, and probably a lot of zombies. So that wasn't really a good place for them. The Marauder Ice Wolf Chariots, I don't know. They're good against certain factions. I don't think the the vampires are a good pick for them because most of what you're going to be running through is just like dirt cheap zombies that have a lot of mass because they're zombies and there's a lot of HP. They do a lot better against like dwarves and like elite infantry. The Frostworm did really well. That was again a surprise pick for like against me, and I didn't have much to counterplay it, so it was mostly just wait for it to get on the ground and try to get my Blood Knights on it. Um, let's see, my dogs paid for itself, almost paid for itself, averaging out, paying for themselves. Blood Knights did amazing. And if I hadn't misplayed this one into the spears, it probably could have even got more. Stearnsmen paid for themselves, and the Karen race, I think one paid for itself, the other one didn't. This is the one that I think got jacked up by the Frostworm at the end. Um, yeah, and then again, the rest of it's just chaff. It's just there to hold. My Banshee got 764 damage value. I don't think she quite paid for herself, but you know, getting that Marauder Chieftain down and just being sticky was worth it. The Necromancer was just there for extra magic and extra healing, and Heinrich Kemmler, he's only got 515. I really didn't put him into combat that much. He's more of a support lord, but at the end of Krell's summon, there was 700 off of that, so tack on another 700 onto there, and we're looking at 1300. Not bad, but the big breadwinners were the Blood Knights for sure.